Okay, I'm gonna just do some miters. Let's say this is a board. Rotate it. So, yeah, we're talking about mitering these corners, making them both meet at 45 in this case. So, one way I could do that would be with using booleans. I could do a boolean split using the cut plane. So, yeah, these have been split into along that line. What I don't like about this in this situation is like there's the pieces are inside of there and stuff, so I can't select them easily. In this case, I could window select them, delete, and there's your mitered boards. But in most situations, you can't select it that easily doing this kind of stuff. So I wouldn't boolean split for there. Another thing I wouldn't do is say do a box, like this setup type of geometry stuff, where then I could just say boolean difference that, which cuts that board, and then I could boolean difference that. Actually, I didn't do it. So then I could do it that way. But in these situations, yeah, I definitely wouldn't use a boolean to do this. If this is the setup, it would be more like just sub-object selecting and moving. Whoops. You know, it's just this way. Like that was probably like 3 mouse clicks or something to do that. Whereas if I used a Boolean tool there, it's like 12 or whatever, you know. So in this case, this is moving sub-object select and moving edges and faces and stuff. That's a super common way for me to go about this. But say then we're going to mirror this and we want to miter this. Now it's a totally different situation because this one's already cut. So now it's just a matter of Boolean difference and it's done, you know. So now that, since the setup was to where I can only do 2 or 3 mouse clicks, and I can, in a situation like that too, is now I can also work further away. Whereas I probably could have come in here and did the move again the same way real fast, and I might do that sometimes, but I'll use a Boolean also because now I'm like further away. I can window select, you know, I just don't have to be all up in there. So it's a lot more comfortable and flowy for me if I can work back farther away. But anyways, yeah, so in this, making this corner, I would have used Boolean difference. Making this corner, I would use the move tool. I mean, it's the same exact result, but it's just a matter of what's fastest. You know, and the options, they change depending on the given situation. You know, it's what I mean, like when it's appropriate to use a Boolean, yeah, use it. I'm gonna array these, say 12, make them a foot apart. So these would be a bunch of, say, 2x6s by 12s or whatever. and we're gonna form a deck, or we're gonna frame to something like this. In this case, now it becomes, I might draw the box here and delete that. You know, it's just I just made all these cuts and got rid of all that. I didn't have to select anything. I'm not in here moving. I'm not drawing each board individually. You know, then I would definitely use a Boolean, because it just did so much like repetitive basic, you know, it's not like I'm using these tools to like design with. This is the framing. It's a different scenario. But so yeah, if I can automate cutting the ends off of all these boards, I mean, come on, duh. Or say this was you know, we were gonna go, we want to make a deck more like this. In this case, maybe I'll have a board 1.5. Like that would be my rim board or whatever. And this, you know, I could do that. I could Boolean difference the other way. Cut all my boards. I mean, that's an option. That's not an option. I don't think I would use that option. If I were doing this, it would be more like, I would probably offset, use through point, come out here. You know, I would make the box, or the cutting box, more like that, just because that's probably how I would be seeing it at the time. So those are definite situations where I'd be using Booleans, just because of, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to like cure cancer. I'm just trying to frame all these boards so I can get cut lists and stuff. Something I wouldn't do though is, see, this thing is one solid, how it was made. Like the way that was made, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't use Booleans on this thing anymore. Like say you know, I need to get these into 3 individual boards. So if I could split that, and now I have a real, actual dimensional piece of lumber. What I don't like about that though, using Booleans on a solid that was created that way, is now the ISO curves they're not like running the length of this board. They're not like doing what the wood grain does. Like if I copying this out, so if I turn the points on, you know, the points are at a rectangle. They're weird. So I'll leave that there. So in this case, yeah, I would probably model the boards. Do border, copy, delete. You know, I would get the boards back to this way, so the ISO curves are all running. Oh yeah, that's a feature in Mac. If you shake your mouse, it gets big, so you can find it. It's kind of funny. Anyways, So yeah, the ISO curves now are running that way, which is how I like it. So if I turn the points on for that, yeah, the points are like running with the board. So that's a situation I would recommend against using booleans in, or one that I just personally wouldn't. But the thing is, it's completely situational. You know, there might be 10 scenarios where I have to do something like this. You know, and I might use move. I might use a polyline to draw the perimeter and extrude it. It's just, but in the situations that I just showed, those I just don't understand what advantage I'm gonna have to make this array of boards to get cut ready, you know, without doing it this way. I don't know a faster way. So if you know one, let's hear it. All right. Maybe this clears some things up. I don't know. Bye.